probably not aware of it, but Fool invented gunpowder, which is one of the reasons where things are in such a mess. And this is Fool demonstrating his invention to the Emperor of China. You know, that's where gunpowder came from. It explodes like roses, laughter, birth, says Fool, touching off 5 green sparks that flash into sunbursts and vault into the night where they bloom and blam and shower. He says celebrations will never be the same, that he can form the stuff into candles, snakes, cherries. Think of the children, their upturned faces shimmering in the dark, says Fool. Think of the stubbornness, obstacles blown away, he says, to the emperor who's already thinking. This was a kind of high risk Fool poem, but I love the film noir. The film noir, that's French, by the way, if you don't know. I looked it up. And there's always that voiceover for the film noir in the book or the movie or whatever, the voice, that Raymond Chandler, sort of grizzled, seasoned detective who's the private dick, which always seemed to me a kind of uncomfortable thing. What do you do? I'm a private dick. Well, I thought you looked kind of like a public dick to me. You invite that kind of. So, Fool Noir felt like every other night in this crummy town, like you'd been cold-cocked and stuffed in a dumpster. Like when a pet store ferret crawls up your pant leg and bites you in the balls. Like when you've sloshed in wet cement and don't know it till you see the tracks on your new carpet. Yeah, and then see darker tracks. From when you set your sock on fire, trying to light a cigarette the way Bogey did in the Maltese Falcon. And danced hitch-kick flambe around the living room, knocking Dad's ashes off the mantle and into the fondue you put out for the big party nobody but the cops showed up for. Yeah, business as usual in Dullsville, till she walked in. But that's another story. Yeah. Why Fool voted No Nonsense, a political poem. Because a spade is a spade. Because a spade is not always a spade. Because of what now passes for love. Because of what now passes for jumbo. Because of too much footsie. Because the news is to blame. Because of things you're always hearing. Because what's the difference? Because fools are thicker than water. Fools give you reasons. Wise men never try. Remember that song, an enchanted evening. South Pacific, by the way. I looked it up. I was referring to the kind of Enron corporate woods sort of environment up there in the Celestial City when the Fool has to go up there after he gets killed somewhere on Earth before he gets back reincarnated. This is called Fools Give You Reason. Back in the Celestial City for another reassignment, Fool's anxious to discuss his misadventures with all the old friends and inside connections he wishes he had. The people at the office where his desk is now occupied by a high-powered shredder are too busy to hear about Hitler or Walmart or the angry poor. They're planning a surprise birthday party for God, forgetting again that he's omniscient. He's always been born, and they're but a dim blip in his plenitude. So they don't want to hear fools blather about the storm of suffering on the universe's model planet. They're sorry, but the theology department's 2 buildings down. They like to think of themselves as facilitators, the ones who polish those crystalline gears the system rides on, and are humble enough to admit they couldn't say exactly what that means. There's no time to suffer fools here. No time, period. Okay. One more. The world's biggest fool. At the doctor's, fool notices his weight's up, almost half a ton. No wonder his jeans cut and his old shoes pinch so. He gets a new outfit at a big men's store, which helps, till he puts on another 2 tons. The tabloids show an interest. The fool finds himself thinking big, hatching ideas that wouldn't have squeezed into his normal-sized head, now larger than a big boy statue's. Is the pleasure of the pig as great as the pleasure of the philosopher? He asked the mailman. Feeling concepts roll through his mind like happy sea otters. He begins to see through the pea soup of everydayness, then through corduroy, then oak tables. The doctor says it must be a nervous affliction brought on by chronic ineptitude and water retention. He prescribes strong diuretics and 2 weeks in the Caymans. But fools grown too big to fit inside a plane or atop a cruise ship, he acquires his own field of gravity, then bounds through the ionosphere and into space, where he takes his place as the 10th planet in our solar system. China draws up plans to colonize him. The CIA to terminate him with extreme prejudice. Now God has to admit, fools jam the gears again, making life difficult for everybody. Another word he uses to mean himself. Meanwhile, fools discovered the missing link, the lost chord, the cure for cancer and old age, devised the half-hour work week. He's really, really big now. Too big to kill with a bolt of lightning or the old pillar of salt stunt. Fool's heart takes up a galaxy. There's room in it for all humankind, even burdens on society and threats to public decency. Everybody, which of course includes God, now adrift inside that humongous ticker, flushed from auricle to ventricle, awash in the blood of a fool. Out goes sin, out goes death, in comes the free pass, the truly bottomless margarita, which set off God's doomsday device for when life gets too good, for our own good. Bang goes the whole shebang, leaving God back at square one. Okay, God damn it, he sighs. From the top, let there be light, blah, blah, blah. Back on earth, fool reincarnated to his old size and kick-me grin, grabs a fig leaf and tries to look busy.